Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk with Brian Poduska. I'm Lyndon Wilson, and I am the creator of The Difference, a media company that helps small businesses, entrepreneurs, folks in the real estate industry find more visibility, connect better with their communities, and connect better with their other businesses as well. Most businesses don't struggle or fail because of a bad product or service. They struggle or fail because not enough people knew what they were doing. And we're trying to solve that problem while we build great relationships with our communities and also with our fellow entrepreneurs and business owners. So that's what we do with The Difference. We've been doing this now right at about 19 months. In 2020, The Difference was fortunate enough to have about 600,000 viewers with about 300 shows. And all of those shows were featuring and spotlighting small businesses. That's what we're going to do today. Now, another thing that we want to focus on is we work hard to make sure that our shows are not infomercials. We know that most people don't care how it's done. They just want to know that it can be done. And we want to be able to help you listen, learn, and understand who those people are in your community that are doing so much in serving the community. So we're going to try to humanize our brand versus commercialize it. And my host, or the host of Real Property Management, is Brian Poduska. I'm going to bring Brian in now. And what's going on, Brian? How are you doing?
I am doing really well, Lennon. Better than you, I understand, because
you know what? It feels like it's passing. And before I say passing, no, it's not a kidney stone. I had a migraine. So I have those every once in a while, thanks to being able to look at a computer screen, 14, 15 hours a day. I get them sometimes, but I think I'm going to survive as I usually do. I'm 100% so far in surviving migraines. So,
right, well,
I think my odds are good.
I was just going to say, I like those odds. As uncomfortable as they may be, we'll muscle through it. I appreciate you muscling through to get us on today. And I'm excited for our co-host today and their guests that they're bringing on. We've got some really fun and engaging businesses that we're going to highlight today. So I look forward to that. So let me just briefly talk about Real Property Management where we focus on your real estate investments. So crazy market out there right now, as everybody knows, in the real estate realm. I'm not sure when things are going to settle down, but we are a full service real estate brokerage specializing in working with investors who have real estate investment properties, and we are there to really take them from the beginning as far as when they're looking at properties. We have some unique tools to help analyze what those returns on their investment will look like. Once those properties are identified, we can help them purchase said property. Obviously, it's in our name with the management piece. Once it's acquired, we can help find a tenant, manage that property. And then on the back end, when it's ready to be sold, we can sell it. So again, our key clients are either intentional investors would be our best clients, because they typically understand what the value of property management is. But we also work with quite a few folks who may have stumbled into a property, whether it be through inheritance or various different methods, but they're not sure what they want to do with that property. We can help them understand the value of what it might look like to rent out. So that is Real Property Management in a nutshell. But like I said, we're here, and like you mentioned, Lyndon, one of our main purposes on Real Talk is to highlight local business partners that we have and that our co-hosts have, and really provide them the opportunity to get in front of a bunch of people and provide them the opportunity to put a face and a name and a personality behind their brand.
Right.
And I'm excited about that. I love the fact that we can do that. It's just a great way to build locally. I know we've got two guests on today that one is a brick and mortar local business, which I always love having those type of folks on, because we can really reach out and reach the local public in this area.
Right. And real quick, I want to address something. I just got a message that we weren't live on our main platform, but I think I've got that fixed now. I'm going to go through here in a second and make sure that we're good. So, if something can go wrong, it usually will, especially with technology. But hey, we roll with it. We get it fixed. It looks like we're live again now, so I think that's good. One thing, Brian, before we bring everybody in, we are changing things up. We rebranded your show. We're doing some things that are a lot of fun, but I wanted to make sure that everybody knows something that we're doing. We've been giving away smartwatches. We've been giving away hotel stays, and we are still giving away airfare and hotel for two. You're going to talk about that later, but before we get there, I want to pop this up real quick. We're going to have a grand prize giveaway for those that watch our show, and all you have to do to enter is in the comments, whether it's Facebook or YouTube, comment either hashtag the difference or hashtag real talk, and we're going to run a contest, and the winner of that contest will then be entered into the drawing that will be held in August at our happy hour event that we're going to be doing for this show. 7-night resorts, up to 4 guests. That can be children or two children or 4 adults. This is not a timeshare or sales presentation. This is just like any vacation that you would be paying for yourself. The winner of this would be responsible for their taxes, and typically a processing fee it will be somewhere between $20, $25. That changes based on how the market's going, but it rarely goes over $25. So not a bad little investment when you win that, and that will be done in August. So whoever gets selected today will be in that drawing for August. So I wanted to make sure I shared that.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing that, Lyndon. And I think I'd love to highlight too the fact that we've got live events now. So in-person events in August. We don't have a location set just yet, but the fact that we're getting back together in person is awesome. And the fact that we can pull all the co-hosts, all the guests, and whoever they want to bring into this live event is pretty exciting. So there's a lot of opportunity to in a good location as well. Again, more to come on that, but I know we're looking at a couple of venues that are pretty exciting. So for those who are listening locally, it's going to be a great opportunity to meet the folks that have been on the show, the folks that are coming up on the show, and of course us.
Absolutely. And if you're a small business owner and want to come out and meet, Brian and find out how maybe you can be a guest on the show, it's for all small businesses and people that watch the show. So we're excited to get that kicked off and get to meet some of the people that are watching. Right on.
So
right.
Yeah, let's bring on our co-hosts. I mean, we've been talking about ourselves long enough. Let's bring them on and give them an opportunity to say hello to the audience. And there we go. There's Daniel and Mr. TMV, Steven Beaver. What's up, gentlemen?
Hey.
Good afternoon.
It's another bright sunny day, ready to get going and moving.
Well, it looks sunny the way you're dressed as usual. It's ready to take some more vacation. You guys are both nice, colorfully dressed. I feel like I'm not holding up my end of the bargain here. I know, Daniel, you're in sunny San Antonio, right?
We're actually on vacation.
Yeah, having a little downtime, a little TMV, taking
my hero.
So thanks for joining me today, guys. I look forward to hearing more about your guests. I already know about your businesses, but our audience doesn't yet. So why don't we start with Steven? Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience. Talk about your business, then we'll come back over, and Daniel, then you go. And Steven, not sure if your guest is able to get on yet.
Yeah, he's
on.
We've been
him.
talking.
All right, cool.
And actually, he's changed my whole perspective on a few things. I won't steal his thunder, but as a business consultant, my job is to make things more efficient. And he really drove that home. All I'm going to say is he's got something about Einstein and Einstein's mathematical equation, M equals MC squared. And I'm going to let him go into that. But yeah, that's all I do. And the way I do it is all of my clients take a minimum of 6 vacations a year. That's the goal, right? So everybody knows that they have this job and they think that they're going to work until 65. But the problem is while they're in that vehicle, they're not out here having fun or doing whatever their dream, passion, or purpose is. So they're driving the vehicle. They get a flat tire. They change the tire. If it needs an oil change, they do the oil change. They do the mechanics. They clean the car. No. That's not what you got in business for, right? So all I do is help people get out of the car while that car's still driving, creating money for them so that they can do the things that they really like. So I just talked with someone the other day and I said, you know what? I'm really not a business consultant. They looked at me and I said, I'm an efficiency consultant. And I get that from Caleb and he'll talk more about that. This guy is amazing. So, but anyway, that's all I do is I just help people get their dreams, passions, and purpose moving along so that they can enjoy life because that's what life's for, isn't it?
Amen, brother. Amen. I'm done with that. And as long as Caleb's here, go ahead and bring Caleb in. Let him just introduce himself real quick. Hey, Caleb.
Hey, everybody. How's my audio?
That's great.
All right, awesome.
And you look marvelous.
I had to do some behind the scenes. I have a studio, but this is like not my studio. But I'm glad that technology allowed us to be here. So it's good to be here.
Awesome. Caleb, tell the audience what you do real quick, and then we'll move over to Daniel and we'll introduce his guest as well.
Well, I love, Steven, how you introduced me as like the efficiency guy. So a couple of things I usually have to say is, number one, people are like, how is a 15-year-old kid going to teach me anything about money or efficiency? I will just have to say this. If you take a step back, I'm super passionate about helping people identify their goals in life and help them best align their cash flow, where their money's going, their saving strategies to best most effectively serve that in a powerful way. And so we do that through different financial strategies. And so I'm the founder of a company called Better Wealth, and we pretty much work with people in all 50 states, helping them be more efficient with wealth. I'm also the author of The And Asset, which is a book that has changed the way that people think about money and the perspective that they have as it relates to taking a dollar and doing more than one thing with that dollar.
Okay, and just for the record, you may look 15, but you're not actually 15.
I'm not actually 15. I'm 25
hang on a second. All I'm going to tell you guys, I'm not going to tell you how old he is because that's his story. But he is old enough to get married. And by the way, that's happening real soon.
It's a week out. So
there you go.
Any type of marriage advice that your audience will give me.
Well, that might be a whole new spinoff show because I don't know if anybody here is qualified, but yeah, we'll take that offline. All right, awesome. Thanks for sharing, Caleb. I look forward to hearing more. That's some pretty cool stuff. And you're an author of a book. I mean, that's pretty awesome. So Daniel, let's shift over to you. Tell the audience who you are, what you do. If they watch the show, they already know because you've been a sponsor for quite some time. But tell us about your business and then introduce your guest.
Sure. My name is Daniel Cook. I own Cook DFW Roofing with my wife, Carrie.
Who we can see in the background. Hi, Carrie.
Yeah, she's sitting there. She wanted to watch the show. But yes, we own the roofing company here local, and we try to educate homeowners into what the options are. A lot of people, get forced into replacements of roofs and different things that happen when storms come around their home, and they really don't know some of the ins and outs of the business. They have door knockers that come around and tell you have damage, and they try to force you into using them. And we try the opposite approach. We want to educate you, give you plenty of time to make an educated decision and use us because we want to do stuff the right way every time to make sure that your property is 100% when we leave it. So we do everything outside your home as well as inside, fences and gutters. We try to be a one-stop contractor. We don't want you to have to call multiple people either because we know everybody's hectic. They got schedules, they got jobs, they got kids and sports, and the last thing they want to have to worry about if they're having to deal with something on their home is take more time out of their schedule to call insurance and call different contractors. So we are a one-stop, storm remediation company that does everything that your home needs, as well as not even with storms. We just work on people's homes as they need stuff done. So that's our focus. We are a smaller company that takes a lot of pride in our end result, and we're not trying to be the biggest company out there. We want to be the best.
Right on. Well, thank you for sharing. And who's your guest today? Bring them on.
Okay, well, I got Sean with us. He is the owner of Charred 380. It's a local store that has a vast, all kinds of unique items. They have the grills, like the Traegers and the green eggs. They have all those different kind of. They have like 8 or 10 different kinds of grills. They have different sizes. They have smokers. Then on top of that, they have all kinds of spices. Different foods that you can grill. They have a meat selection that's awesome. I didn't even know about it until I walked into the store one day. And so, just long story short, so I'm always looking for partners to work around, and I want to choose small business owners because that's what the name of the game is: helping each other and trying to get ourselves more acclimated to the public. And so I walked in one day, and who's behind the counter? But Sean, the owner. He's behind the counter working it. And I just say, hey, I tell him who I am, what my ideas are. And he goes, hey, that sounds fantastic. I'd love to be a part of that. So that's how we met. And then I started walking around the store. I was like, oh, crap, you got all kinds of stuff here. I guarantee most people probably don't know about. But so, yeah, Sean has got a great store. It's phenomenal merchandise. It's right there on the corner of Custer and 380. You can get into the store real easy. And I think it'd be awesome. Everybody can stop by and look at it.
Awesome. Well, Sean, thanks for joining us today. I'm hearing a little bit of feedback here, but thanks for joining us today. Appreciate you coming on. Definitely want to learn more about your store, but just give a brief introduction. Daniel said where you're at, but I think there's a little nugget that you want people to know about because it might attract people to the store. But go ahead and introduce yourself and your store.
Thanks for having me on, and I appreciate Daniel including me on this podcast today. I'm Sean Astolfo on Charred 380 in McKinney, Texas, and we're barbecue grill, outdoor kitchens. We sell, a variety of things that we can get into later on. But the biggest thing is in our location is the biggest craze right now. I think it's called Dutch Brothers Coffee. It's right here. It's the first one in the DFW area off of Custer Road. So we're right behind Dutch Brothers.
All right. So when you sit in line for half hour to get your Dutch Brothers coffee, just feel free to roll up to the store and check out some grills and some meats and some spices, right?
Yes, sir. You'll see us cook it out in the back when they're in their long lines. So we're trying to advertise as much as we can.
There you go. Smart. Well, that's awesome. Thanks again for being on today. We are going to deep dive a little bit on your business and how you got to where you're at and all that good stuff. So we'll come back to you in a bit here. But right now, let's pause and mention again. I saw Mr. Copeland, Michael Copeland out there has already commented #RealTalk. There it is, Mr. Copeland. Thank you, sir. For those of you who didn't hear in the intro, we do have a promotion going on. All you need to do is drop in the comments #RealTalk or #TheDifference, and you will be entered into a drawing for a 7-day, so a full week stay at a resort. I think several different choices of resorts, not part of there's no sales pitch involved. There's no strings attached. So there it is, your 7-night resort getaway, up to 4 guests. So this one's a big one, and it's going to be a quarterly drawing. It'll happen live at our live event that'll be coming up in August. So all you have to do, again, is drop in the comments #RealTalk or #TheDifference to be entered into doing that.
By the way, real quick, Brian, I don't think Michael's hashtag was registered. If I could get him to do that again. We do have another one now. I think we have Tom May that's done it as well. So right, if we get Michael, if you're watching still, if you would do that one more time, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I was born and raised in the Chicago area, and the mantra is vote early, vote often. So I guess if you just keep putting #RealTalk in, you increase your odds. There's your efficiency expert there, guys. Vote early, vote often. Hey, great to hear from Mr. Tom May too. Thanks for dropping that in there, Tom. Glad to see you're listening. Now, with that little announcement out of the way, let's move over to Mr. Beaver, and I'd let you dive in with Caleb, and just let's go. Let's learn more about Caleb, and I'll let you steer this ship. I know you've got your own podcast that you do a very quick speed session with 6 questions. I don't think we're going to do that this time, but a little plug for your podcast as well. But Mr. Beaver, I'll let you take it away.
Okay, so I am on such a drive with Caleb right now. This guy is blowing my mind on all kinds of things and making me a better person for it. So I have my agenda, but he knows him better than I do. So I really don't want to do anything except say that I did use yesterday efficiency equals maximizing consistency, consistently controlling comfort. And the guy was all in. So E equals MC squared, baby. And all I'm going to say is if you guys didn't like that and you want to know about finances, he is E equals MC squared, efficiency maximizing, creating compounding cash flow certainty. And that, sir, is how I'm going to introduce you. And by the way, you got to start out. I'm going to give you one thing you have to do because everybody's wondering how old you are. And I know for a fact you're not 15. So
right
after that, it's all you.
By the way, man, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on here. I love the energy that everyone has here. Oh my goodness, I'm ready to go all in, and I love the efficiency, and I love the vote early, vote often. So if you're watching this live, make sure you do that because I think good things will happen. But overall, I'm 25 years old. I'm actually going to be married to the love of my life in about a week, and so that's exciting. And I'm coming from Denver, Colorado. And the story that I'll open up quickly is everyone likes to hear your most embarrassing moment, right? We all have it. When I was 12 years old, I was super short, could not read. I still struggle with this thing called dyslexia, which is ironic because no one can spell that if you're actually dyslexic. But anyways, I had this moment where I was in front of my whole peer group and I totally blanked out what I was going to say. Unlike now, I hated talking. I hated really talking to people. And I had this insecure moment. And my mom the next day, because I came to her in tears, she said, Caleb, the things that you can't control, don't worry about. So your height, you didn't have any control over. But the things that you can control, like most things in our life, you have a moral obligation to go all in. And so what that translated to was me working at a bank, me really ultimately I worked at a chicken farm before that. That's probably a funny story within that. And I started making money. I started becoming fascinated with how our money could work for us. I got a job at a bank at 17, and then I became one of the youngest people in the country to take over the whole bank's investment department at the age of 19. And when I was 19 years old, I was asking the question, there's got to be a better way. I saw people broke. I saw people frustrated. I saw people putting their money in accounts that they didn't have any control over and then begged to the bank for money. I realized I had to tell people that came in to want to retire that they couldn't because they didn't understand or didn't have a fraction of what was going on. And there were so many problems, whether it was debt, whether it was taxes, whether it was lack of control, lack of efficiency. And I just had a moment where I was like, there's got to be a better way. And the best thing that ever happened to me was I did not have a direct mentor. And so I was the kid that went out. I think people pitied me, but I had really smart individuals pour into me and say, Caleb, we will show you a better way. And I started looking at what banks and corporations and the ultra wealthy were doing. And they were telling us to do one thing and doing the exact opposite. That's why banks give us suckers, because we're a sucker going into the bank thinking that we're going to, take their same principles. And so my book is just a combination of how we have to think about efficiency, why we need to challenge when someone says you have an average rate of return versus an actual rate of return, why we need to lean into some powerful concepts. And I summarize it all by Albert Einstein's most popular, I don't know if it's his most popular equation, but it's his wealth equation that says E equals MC squared. And I'm not going to get into the physics of that because nobody cares about that. But if you can create efficiency is essentially maximizing your money through two things: lifetime growth and maximizing control. And the institutions and people that can maximize the future value of their money and can maximize control, because true wealth is when you can leverage and control capital, you'll be wealthy in the end. And every person of influence and success has got that because they've maximized efficiency through areas in their life. And yet we in America are not taught to be efficient as it relates to our wealth. And so that's me in a nutshell. And I'll hand it back over to you, Stephen.
So I just want to show everybody this book, this huge book. Not huge, okay? There's a lot of other books out there that have a lot more in them. They're thicker, harder to read, and you come out of it going, what do I do? Caleb's book is written for people like me, simple people that, look, I'm not a financial wizard. This book is not written for not financial wizards. It's written for the everyday person. Oh, everyday wealth? What is that? Oh, anyway, so that you get, after you read this, you're like, holy cow, right? There's like the 16 things that what do you want your money to do? There's 16 things that your money can do. And most financial institutions don't even come close, right? I mean, and you know what? Let's just talk about control, the 2 C's.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about controlling, but maybe we should start you take over from there. But and give them a story if you like, whatever.
The dilemma was this, and I want the audience, whoever's listening to this, to ask yourself, did you have this dilemma? So when I started making money, I was told that I needed to choose between retirement and now. That I needed to choose between controlling my money and being an entrepreneur and saving it for the future. And this book essentially eliminates that false choice and says, give your dollar 2 jobs rather than 1. And that's essentially the idea. So when we talk about compounding, Albert Einstein is noted to say that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. And he goes on to say, he who understands it earns it, he who doesn't pays it. How many of us know people that are not earning true uninterrupted compounding? And so what is that? What does that mean? Yeah, I love it. What does that actually mean? Well, that means that we're not, a lot of times we don't have money to compound. 100% of 0 is still 0. Okay. A lot of people aren't creating a system where they can compound anything. And then there's a lot of drags to our money, fees, losses. And I talk about an extreme example of losses, but a lot of times we like to tote averages. And averages can be very misleading because if you have $100 and you give it to Steven because he's amazing, right? And he doubles it, you're like, this is amazing. $100 goes to 200. And then the next year he loses 50% of it. Steven can say that he got a 25% rate of return on your money. And yet the actual rate of return is 0 because he made 100, lost 50. You do that deal, it's 25%. But the actual rate of return is 0. And the principle here is every time you lose money, losses affect our accounts far greater than gains. We have to be obsessed with not losing money. And the last point that I want to make when it comes to a compounding strategy is most people are not giving it the time that it needs. Compounding is essentially a function of money growing over time. And a lot of people aren't funding it and they're not giving it the lifelong time that it grows to be powerful. And so what we talk about when we talk about compounding is if you're going to lean into a strategy like that, eliminate all the things that could get in the way of helping your money compound and make sure that you can play a lifelong game versus a retirement game. A lifelong game versus a retirement game. The second C is this, control. I like to quote Warren Buffett because he's known for being the stock guy, but Warren Buffett has made all of his money through consistently controlling capital. If you're a VP that's not super productive and Warren Buffett buys your company, you're probably going to lose your job because he's ruthless at what he does, but he's really good at controlling capital, and they're buying companies, taking over control and making them more profitable. He's doing that, and you can see the compound wealth because he's controlling capital. And in the book, I talk about Mark Zuckerberg, and it's like, who has more control? Me that owns a mutual fund that happens to have a Facebook stock, or Mark Zuckerberg, who's at the center of that decision? And so we talk about control. We have to understand the different levers. And one of the things that I love to share is if you look at banks make money 5 different ways. And instead of hating on the banks, we should learn how to do those 5 things in our life. Banks are amazing at getting money to flow to them. Like they literally waive fees if we get direct deposits to have money flow to them. They also make a ton of money through leverage. They pay us 1% or less, then go and lend our money out to other people and make hundreds of % on that spread. And it's crazy. It's the power of leverage. They have all the money, they have liquidity, so everyone comes to them. It's like the golden rules. Those who have the gold make the rules. They have the gold, so everyone's begging them for the money. So the opportunities seek them out. And then the other thing is they don't put up any risk. They say, hey, Steven, you're going to put up your house. You're going to put up your car. You're going to put up your business. You're going to put up your firstborn because God forbid you ever not pay us. We're going to foreclose on you. And finally, they create velocity. They're creating money in motion. And that money in motion is just creating a lot of wealth. And so the idea of control is, what is the ROI of actually having control in our life? It's kind of like saying, what is the value of a golf club? For me, it's not much. For Phil Mickelson, it's a lot of money. What's the difference is because he knows how to use it. I don't. Same thing goes with control. Some people value control more than others, but if you truly want to be wealthy and fulfilled, you need to be able to maximize control, and you have to be able to value it. And in our world, we do not put a value on control because banks and Wall Street and the ultra wealthy, that's how they make wealth. And if everyone knew that, there'd be some problems. And so overall, I know I'm saying a lot, but understand true compound growth and understand true control, marry them together, and you will win every time.
The thing that always got me when we talk is not compound interest. Every financial advisor talks about compound interest, right? And there's funny ways you can make it and do it, but putting the E word in front of it, the other E word, or actually U word, uninterrupted compound interest, right? So the example that I believe you gave me was, if I got $100,000 and Brian has 5 houses and I need 20% down, I take that $100,000 out of the stock market. That's interrupting that money, right? Even though I'm going to go do these rent houses, but the way that what you found is where you're putting your money, your master account, you actually still making you're still compounding that, even though you're taking the money out. And I'll tease that for the book. Once you read the book, you'll be like, oh my God, this is brilliant. Why didn't somebody tell you about it? And that's because, well, as you know, the banks don't want you to know because they'll lose a lot of money, right? So, but that uninterrupted compound interest is where the real wealth is.
Yeah, it's true. And the reason why we get caught up in inefficiencies is we're playing a short-term game versus a long-term game. I'll use the example of driving a car. What gets better gas mileage, driving through the city or through the highway? It's kind of funny because driving the highway, you're driving faster. If you think about it for a second, you'd think you'd get worse gas mileage there. You actually get worse gas mileage going through the city. Why? Because you're stopping and starting. Majority of people are stopping and starting as it relates to their wealth, and they're never able to get momentum. And so, yeah, when we can create financial strategies that say, I'm going to commit to a lifelong compound growth that's going to affect the next generation, and the reason it's called the and asset, and through this concept of controlled compounding, I'm going to control capital because your greatest financial need is not to compound your money. Your greatest financial need is not retirement plans. Your greatest financial need is not whatever Wall Street wants to tell you. It's controlling capital, because we use money way more. Our need for using money is far greater than anything else. So why don't we have financial advisors and people actually leaning into that and say, we're going to give you the best solution to use capital today? And again, I can't take a ton of credit other than the fact that I just had some incredible mentors. I leaned in and I took all these concepts and put it into a book, and less than 100 or so pages, you can understand some powerful concepts and start applying them in your own life.
Yeah, that's the beauty of your book, is it's written in simple language. It's not going to give you these big, long, drawn out examples and everything that you sit there and go, I need to read that 3 or 4 more times, and I'm not dyslexic, right? So, but yeah, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of your book, and you know, the very concept. I actually was just talking with a banker yesterday, and he was like, yep, you're right. Yep, you're right. You know, and I'm like, because I know about the fiat business, I know about, you know, tier 1 cap and all of that. And so, but I didn't before you, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, now it all makes sense, right? How can there be a bank on every corner? How can that happen? Yeah. And because you learned it originally from them, and then enhanced it with other mentors, but you're doing what the banks are doing. And let's see, banks and insurance companies.
They have all the money.
They have all the money. Who bailed out the U.S. when we had our Great Depression? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'll just say one other thing, Brian, before you speak, is I had a question. I was like, why how are we making money? Like we had this bank that I worked at, we had like 25 employees, 3 banks or 3 offices. There was just a lot going on. It's like, how do we make money? Oh, we were the institution that had all the money. So we could charge fees and create loans and all these other things. And it's just, banks understand the value of control. And yet it's such a devalued concept for so many people.
Well, I'll chime in here, Caleb. I think you did a great job of kind of boiling down the concepts of, don't go for just a goal of retirement savings, right? It's a lifetime. What do you want out of it, and what the lifetime build of capital, and then obviously the control piece is something that people give away all too easily because they may not understand it. So those 2 nuggets, very simply said, are a great pull out from your book. Tell everybody how they can get a hold of your book.
So you can always get my book on Amazon, and you can go there and type in Andasset. Steven, do you have a place that, or they could go to andasset.com to go get more information? Maybe Steven has a place that you guys can get the book. But yeah, anything that I can do to better serve this audience, it's an honor to be here.
Cool. Well, we appreciate you coming on. I guess if it's on Amazon, that's as easy as it can get. So we're good there. No, but thank you for sharing, Mr. 15-year-old Caleb. I tell you what, it's pretty impressive in 25 years that you've learned all that, put it in a book, and published a book that's available on Amazon. Like you said, you're not reinventing a wheel. You're just putting it all together and getting it spinning. So that's some fantastic insight from a 15-year-old. I appreciate that.
25.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Married. He didn't have to get his parents' permission.
Yeah, I guess you couldn't get married if you were 15 in most states. Anyway, so again, thanks for sharing. Let's not forget that we have Sean on the show. And Daniel, I'll let you kind of lead the discussion with Sean, but I definitely want to get you some airtime, Sean, and make sure that everybody knows all the different things that you have to offer as far as your retail outlet. But I'm curious myself, since I love everything that you have to offer from a retail standpoint. I'm interested personally to know how you got there. So Daniel, I'll let you lead the discussion, but I'm going to sit back and listen. And
hey, Brian, real quick before Daniel goes, I want to let everybody know that we're going to push the drawing back 5 minutes so that we can give Daniel and Sean a good amount of time for them to talk. So we'll push this back, the drawing, to 2:50 rather than 2:45.
Okay, awesome. All right, Daniel.
Yeah, so like I briefly mentioned in the beginning, I was looking to work with a small business because I just feel like that's the way that we need to take care of each other. And, a lot of times we go out to look for an item or something that we want to, buy for our home. And the first place we do is log onto the big boys website and see what they have, because that's where we think that's the easiest place to get stuff. So I did some research and I found Sean's store, Charred 380. And I walked in, and there he was. He was working the counter, talking to customers, educating them. More than what you're going to find at a big boy place if you go to look for a grill or something like that. He was actually there talking to another customer about some options they had. The different selections that he carries, which he carries a large amount of inventory in the store, and it's refreshing. I think that's that it all comes around to that's the difference in what we create as small business owners. Is we're more passionate about what we do. We tend to be more educational. We want to make sure the customer's getting a better product, but also at an easier, more personal touch. And that's what he does. His wife works at the store. It's a true family-owned business. And so this is a great thing. So I'll let Sean open up a little bit more about what he carries and how he got started. But yeah, here's Sean.
How y'all doing? Thanks again for having me on the show. So I guess the $1 million question, probably $1 question, is how I got started with Charred 380. So I was in the corporate world. I've been ever since I've known. I've been in health. I was in healthcare for almost 24 years. I started in marketing for a hospital out of Houston, and I worked my way up to actually running hospitals. So I went from marketing to I just went up the chain, went up the ladder, right? And that's how I met my wife, and she's in healthcare as well. I came home one day, and we'd been talking about it, but I told her, I said, I need a change. You know, this is everything going on in healthcare. It was getting tough, getting difficult, long hours, but my kids were getting, and it's not like I'm not in long hours here, because having your own business is pretty rough as well. But there's a little bit more gratitude. You get to enjoy it a little bit more when you're working for yourself, I guess. But my kids were smaller, and but so we knew I wanted to do something. Didn't know what we were going to do, though. My dad's side of the family, all entrepreneurs. They all had, my dad's grandfather had a shoe shop back in the 50s in Houston in the Heights. My dad's father, he had a donut shop. My dad had his own business. So it kind of went into the family that I knew I was going to open up something, but I just didn't know what it was going to be. We have some great family friends of ours that actually owns Charred Argyle in Argyle, Texas. We've known them for about 18 years. And they had just opened up probably about 6 months or so when I was going into this. So I asked, you know, to see how everything was going in the, you know, financially, and looked at the books and so forth. So I got with them, and I came home and told my wife, I was like, look, this could work, especially where we're at. You know, we're in the, I call it the border between Frisco, McKinney, Prosper, and all of this whole big old area out here. So I said, I know this can work. So spoke a little bit more with Charred Argyle, and decided that, look, we're not going to have a partnership. They own 100% of Argyle. I'll own 100% of Charred 380, and what we'll do is we'll just brand together. So we share the website and everything, and we just branding the name. So we're totally separate, you know, but we were very grateful and blessed to, you know, let them for them to let us, you know, use part of the name and get into the business. So we've been open 2 years now. Charred 380, how we got 380. We're off of Custer and 380. 380 is a road right in front of us, and it splits Frisco and Prosper. It splits McKinney and Prosper. So and we're right off on the corner on Custer. Like I said earlier, Dutch Brothers is a big craze.
I was assuming that 380 had something to do with the barbecue temperature, but as you were describing it, it kind of hit me that, all right, it's probably the street. I got you.
No, I mean, you can smoke. I mean, you can cook a steak at 380. I mean, you're all right. It's pretty good.
Right.
So we've been here 2 years. You know, like I said, the big craze right now is Dutch Brothers. So we're behind Dutch Brothers, and we have Ernesto's Mexican Restaurant and Wingstop around us. But Charred 380 is, like Daniel was saying, we are family owned. You know, I do have employees, but you know what makes a small business, and it's the only way it's going to work is the person that owns it, right? I mean, you got to get out there and hustle and meet people. And I was grateful that Daniel walked in and got to meet him. And, you know, I hate to say it, and it's not, you know, and Daniel will tell you too, is that, you know, people come to you and ask you, you know, and for your business because of us, you know, because we're always here. You know, Daniel's the face of his business, and I'm the face of Charred 380, and being in here every day, it helps, you know, to talk to the customers, to, you know, to explain to them the different reasons of why to pick this and that. But at the same time, you know, it's difficult because I do want to open up another place. And at the same time, you know, people come because, you know, I'm in here all the time. I got great employees, but at the same time, you know, you build that relationship after 2 years. It's kind of, they want to see your face. So the shop alone, we are a barbecue grill and accessories. So anything, different grills, you know, from pellets to like, say for Big Green Eggs, to the Primos, which the Primo is their niche is the oval. It's not an egg. The Kamado Joes. We have the pellet grills, different pellet grills. We have the built-in gas or propane to go into your kitchens. We do sell outside heaters. It could be, you can either put it up mount it inside your ceiling or attach it to your house. We sell gas fire logs for outside. We do sell different types of meat, prime, wagyu, brisket, ribeyes, fillets, chicken wings. I mean, anything, seafood, all types, and different seasons, of course. And I'm trying to think on top of my head what else we carry, but it's everything outdoors, you name it, we pretty much carry. Well, we're bringing in the swamp coolers for the summertime, right? For your porch, yesterday after the rain, it got to 94 after what it was 70 for a while. So it was already humidity. So, I mean, I try to be different. You can go to, say, the big boys, the big box stores. But at the same time, we try to carry same stuff. We're always going to have some of the stuff that's going to be similar or the same. But at the end of the day, I try to find different stuff to separate me and going to Lowe's or Home Depot or a big chain store.
Well, I can't remember the last time I bought a nice hefty steak at a Home Depot, and I'm there all the time. Although they have the hot dog guys out in front sometimes.
There you go.
Yeah, I'd say your product and offering is a little bit better than theirs. Yeah, man. As far as the timing of this the show and when you're talking about all this grilling, and so number one, we got to call you the Grill Master. So next time we're going to have Grill Master in between your first name and last name. But yeah, the timing of the show, depending on where you're watching, is probably lunchtime or pushing up on dinner. So yeah, I think we're all extremely hungry now that we've heard what you do.
And I just wanted to ask Sean one quick question though too, as far as just to make sure the public understands. Even though you're a specialty store, as far as your pricing is usually probably less than a lot of people would imagine it would be. Correct?
Correct. Yeah, you would think of being a specialty store that our pricing is a lot higher, but it's there's a website out there that a lot of people go to, and they think they're getting a great deal, but we sell it for the same price as the big website online. So you're right. It's we run specials, and we have different reward programs, on our POS, on our Clover system. So we try to give back. We're big in a lot of things in the area, and not only as we retail, we do construction as well. We do outdoor kitchens. We do patios, pergolas, fireplaces.
Hey Sean, I got a question for you. What is your favorite thing of your business? What food or product? What's your, let's like, if I could do this all day, this is what I would like to do. What is your favorite?
Wow, that's a tough question. I guess it's I like communicating with people, with talking. I get, my major was radio and TV and communications. So, I mean, I love to talk to people. And that's probably one of the things my wife hates, is because everywhere we go, I either know somebody or I just like to talk. I'll talk to a stranger. That's just the way I am though, right? I mean, I'll just start a conversation and, but when I get home, or she'll look at me at the, with her, by the side of her eyes when I'm talking to the person, like, what are you doing? But that's just who, that's the way I've always been. So when people come to the store, I mean, I could talk to anybody for a long time, and either, I got a phone call or something. And so I get in trouble a little bit from the wife on that, but it's just talking, interacting with others. I think that's what I like.
Right on.
All right. Looks like we are up on it as far as the drawing goes. Lennon, before we do the drawing real quick, I want to make sure we give Mr. Holberg some time, our sponsor, Liberator Health Insurance. Would you mind popping his seller up there? All right. Awesome. So before we do the drawing, just want to give a minute here to Mr. Greg Holberg, the owner of Liberator Health Insurance. Greg comes at us with the deal of the week. His offering is a unique healthcare solution that is outside and different than what you see in the government marketplace plans. For example, the Liberator deal of the week this week, couple in their 60s got a great coverage for $553 per month. I'm not in my 60s yet, but I do know that the government marketplace programs are usually double or even triple that. So just a great example of, Greg's able to help all kinds of different age groups and save quite a bit of money. It also puts a lot of the, again, back to the control factor, it puts the control of your healthcare and choice of your healthcare back in your hands as a consumer. So even if you have a government marketplace program and you think that you're kind of stuck there, you're not. Give Mr. Greg Holdberg a call or text him at 214-886-4688 to just have a discussion. He can help educate you on what's available, understand what your needs are, and get you put in the right place if you need to with the health insurance. Or he may just say, hey, you're in a great spot already. Either way, just give him a call or text him at 214-886-4688. All right.
We ready to get to the drawing?
Let's do it.
All right. Let me get this set up here. Add this to the stream. Everybody ready? Drum roll. Anybody got a drum? Here we go.
We need some music, some drawing music.
Da na 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 da 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 da.
Michael
Hey,
Copeland.
there it
All
is.
right. Congratulations, Michael.
I think it's the multiple votes that he put in. I'm guessing we do have some sort of limit on number of votes that won, hopefully. But congrats, Mr. Copeland. Kind of fitting that he should win on today's show after talking about grilling, because talk about a grill master and a master chef. I know Mr. Copeland personally, and he had prior to starting his journey with Farmers Insurance, he was a chef by trade. So, congrats to you, Mr. Copeland. Thanks for dropping in the comments. All those who didn't get drawn this week, that's okay. Just watch next week. Drop in the comment, #RealTalk or #TheDifference, and you'll have another chance to get entered into that drawing. So thanks for all of you who did drop your comments in. All right, so we're coming up against it. Sean, I want to ask Sean and Caleb real quick. I know you guys kind of touched on it. Sean, you mentioned you were in corporate America. In one sentence or maybe a couple, what drove you to start your specific business? So I understand the entrepreneurial piece, but what drove you to start Charred 380?
I guess it's passion and just wanting to do something for myself.
Okay, awesome. Caleb, you were in banking. You were head of a banking department at age 19, despite the fact that you at that time must have looked like age 12. Now that you're 25, appearing to be a 15-year-old, what inspired you to actually write your book?
What inspired me is that this information changed my life and changed the way that I thought. And the most leveraged thing that I could do at the time was just take all these complicated concepts, make them simple, and put it into a resource that anybody could at any time learn. I mean, there's colored pictures in there. There's a reason, is because I want it to be as easy and engaging for people to get it. And so it's really the value leveraging that happens through creating a piece of content that can impact more than one person.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Cool. Well, gentlemen, both Caleb and Sean, thank you guys for being guests today. Really enjoyed learning about your past, what makes you tick, especially, obviously the end product is your business here, but it was great to get to know you guys on a deeper level. Daniel.
Hey, Brian,
Steve,
I'm sorry. I wanted to, I didn't know if you were going there, but I wanted to remind you of Daniel and Sean's giveaway as well.
Right. Yep. So I was going to thank them for being on the show. Thank you guys for being on the show. Yeah, if you can throw that up there, Daniel, I'll let you guys talk about it. But it's pretty exciting. It's especially since I've been wanting a green egg on my own for quite a bit. So I may just get Daniel up on my roof to get number 2 here. But go ahead and talk about it, guys.
Well, it's just a really easy promotion, guys. I wanted to really work with Sean, and we got with our attorneys, and this is something that we came up with. So we're just basically giving a $25 gift card to every homeowner that calls us out to do just a preliminary inspection on their roof. No purchase necessary, no gimmicks, no nothing. We're going to jump up there, take some pictures, give you an honest assessment of where your roof is right now today, and let you know the information. And then you get a Charred $25 gift card just for letting us come out and visit your home. You're going to be able to walk into Charred 380, and you're going to be able to experience walking around and using it for something that you may want to use it like for some kind of meats or spices, or maybe a new spatula or some tongs. So just a cool way of getting people introduced to Charred 380 and Sean. And then if you happen to have damage, or if you happen to have a need for a roof, and you do sign up with Cook DFW, we're going to be able to then give you a $1,000 gift card to Charred 380. So if you need a roof, guess what? You're going to be able to get a brand new grill ready for the summertime. Memorial Day is right around the corner. We got Labor Day. We got 4th of July. It's just grilling season. Let's just get it going. So I just wanted to really make sure people got an advantage of meeting Sean's store, and then as well as his promotion.
That's awesome.
I'm fired up to go fire up my grill right now. So giddy up. Let's go. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. That's a great partnership deal right there. I love that co-branding and love that aspect of it. So rock on, guys. Okay, well, we are up against it on the time. Before I say goodbye to everybody, I do want to mention 30-minute consultation with any of us on the show. We are still doing a separate thing from the 7-day trip that we were giving away earlier. We have a round trip airfare and 2 nights hotel for 2 just for reaching out to anybody on the show today for a consultation call. So all you have to do is mention the fact that you saw us on the show today and are interested in learning more about what we have to offer from a business perspective. Again, we do this on a regular, ongoing basis. So just reach out to us, mention you saw us on the show, and we can hook you up with something like this. With that being said, thanks again, guys. Sean, thanks for being our guest today. Caleb had to jump off, but thanks again to Caleb for coming on. Steven and Daniel, appreciate you guys as co-hosts today. Appreciate you bringing on some awesome guests. We will see you guys next month. I see Carrie in the background waving. Bye, Carrie. All right, guys. Until next week, same time, same station, 2 p.m. Thursdays for Real Talk with me, Brian Poduska. Till then, see y'all later. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Thank you all. Bye-bye.